This is Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars with Stephen Fennick and Trevor Long. Thanks to NRMA Insurance and Uniden.
That's right, thanks to NRMA Insurance, a help company helping Australians protect what matters most for almost 100 years. And they are one of Australia's largest insurers of electric vehicles. And of course, Uniden smart dash cams. You need a dash cam for your car to give you peace of mind, to give you something to look back on when that silly thing happens on the road. But most importantly, the peace of mind is going to be a game changer for you. And they've got a huge range, front and rear cameras, 2K, 4K, affordable, a whole range of prices. They've got you covered in the Uniden smart dash cams.
Award-winning dash cams.
Good stuff. Stephen, good to see you, mate.
Great to be here, Trev. Another week, we've got a few calls lined up.
We got a great show, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Look, if you're new to the show and this is your first
show.
episode, my goodness me, haven't you missed some good stuff?
We've got solid back catalogue.
There's a back catalogue. Yeah. There's a lot of learning, and I do.
And we hear from our listeners saying that they go back and have been listening to our old shows.
That's right,
older shows,
because there's things to learn, not just from us gibbering on, but from callers,
the people we talk to.
One of our favourite things about this show's evolution is now that we're getting so many calls, we can talk to real people about their EV woes and joys. Yeah, and you can be part of that too by just simply getting in touch.
The pitfalls, the caution you have to take. You know, you got to be cautious. You got to know. You got to do your homework.
Send us a text.
We help you do that.
0477 657 657. Send us a text. We'll get you on the show. And I know we're already like a third of the way or a quarter of the way into 2025, but we are finally getting back on the horse when it comes to getting into the cars.
Back in the garage.
We've already got cars in the garage now. I've got a D-PAL.
I've got the smart car.
And I'll just to give you a sense of what we've lined up, we've got everything from the MG Cyberster, the Zeekr Z, we've got the Zeekr 009 at some point. We have the Mercedes electric G-Wagon.
Hello,
the
brand
G580.
Just announced, yeah, wow.
A month or so ago.
Good brand,
as this show goes to air.
Yeah.
Polestars, the Polestar 4, we saw Larissa and the team at the EV show. The EQE, which Stephen drives, we'll have a look at the update of that if there is one. We've got pretty much every Kia EV you can drive. We'll talk Xpeng. So we're going to get across, and the Cadillac Lyric is in the diary, Stephen.
Well, the car I'm driving is the car that Penelope eventually chose. Remember?
Well, that's right.
16 test drives. I'm driving the car she chose.
Yes, the smart #3 is what it's called.
Yes, it is.
And so the plan with those is I think we found a better way of doing it this year, because last year we were booking a car for a week and trying to get 2 days. You get 2 days, I get 4 days or whatever.
Yeah.
We've now got them for 2 weeks so that I can get a full week, you can get a full week, so we can every week we can try and unpack a car at least for you and really get a sense
doing
of it. Deliveries
for each other. So we describe you're going to take me through the car I'm giving you, you're giving me, and vice versa.
I want to be careful not to overwhelm you with my thoughts, though. I want to just tell you the things that you need to know.
Just tell me where everything is. I'll work out my own opinions, but I'll tell you the sort of the ins and outs of the system, as you will for me.
So you don't want to know the things that bug me before you drive it?
Well, I'll probably discover them for myself, but no, happy to take a tip if you want to. Yeah, I'll take the tip.
There'll be a couple of tips.
I'll give you a couple of my own little tips too, don't worry.
Okay, that's fair. And if there's a particular car you're interested in knowing about, hearing about, let us know.
You might be thinking about buying it.
We've only got... we're only 2 people, so I know I've had this experience.
2 people would do the work of 8 people.
Over many years of doing this. I've tried in the past to have 4 cars in the drive. It's impossible.
Yeah, can't do it.
There's no point. If you can't drive a car for a solid week, and a week is not enough, but it's the way I look at it is it's way longer than the dealership gives you. So the dealership gives you 10 minutes, and I'll be honest, you discover a lot in 10 minutes.
That's not enough, but
you discover a lot.
Yeah, you do. You discover the things that annoy you straight away.
Correct. Yeah,
things you got to get used to as well. But we're in the car. We swap it over, so that we've worked it out that we're 7 days in each car, and you've got a car, I've got a car. We swap it over, so we're doing a pretty thorough drive. So it's literally our daily drivers. They're going to become
Going to save some Ks on the Cupra, that's for sure.
Ooh, and the Merc too.
Anyway, so look, if there's something you want to know about cars, and really quickly, I think also, if there is something that you feel is missed in the way cars are reviewed. Now, I have great respect for motoring journos. They go to so much trouble, different measurements.
They get pretty technical too.
It's very technical. Yeah. I am a bit more top line. I just want to see how it does certain things and what it's like to interact with. But if there's something that you think is lacking from what's out there at the moment, let us know, because we will make a very clear intent and attempt to cover that in the way we talk about these cars. So don't hesitate to let us know. You can get in touch, 0477 657 657. Your calls after this. All right, Jamie's on the line. Jamie sent a text to 0477 657 657. G'day, Jamie.
G'day, guys. How you going?
Mate, very, very well. But you have, I think, just purchased an EV, mate. Tell us about what you bought.
We did, yes. We got an EV5, the GT line.
Ooh,
nice
very nice.
choice.
Kia. What drew you to it?
Yeah.
What drew you to it, and what did you look at before that?
So we looked at a few different brands. It sort of came down to the BYD C-Line 7 and the Kia EV5. I think we ended up with the Kia mainly because it was an established brand and it's our first EV, and the wife was already, oh, do we want an EV? So we kind of went that safe route rather than with BYD, even though it's been in the market for a while. Kia's obviously got a much bigger dealer presence and things like that.
Yeah, so it sounds like it took you. Did it take a bit of convincing for your wife? Did you have to, what our other caller described as doing a solid marketing campaign to get it across the line?
Absolutely, yes, definitely. Most definitely.
What do you think is the thing that got her over the line? And we're not being sexist here. It could have been, it could be a woman on the line talking about getting a husband over the line on this. But what do you think it is that really sold it to her, or is it really to the ownership that is getting her over? Because that's the way my wife has approached this. She's really bought into it since it arrived in the driveway, which essentially is how she sees it. It was just thrust upon her.
I think it was just, at the end of it, it was down to financial, what kind of brought her over the line was just cost of ownership with the charging and with all of that sort of thing. We got solar and all that sort of stuff at home. So that's kind of what sealed the deal, I guess. At the end of it, she wasn't too fussed with, electric and all that sort of thing and the way it drives or anything like that, even though she does quite like it now, the way it drives. But,
yeah. So is this
that
a
was
car,
kind of the thing.
you share the cars, both your cars, or is it both just mainly yours, or whose is it?
Primarily her car and kids and stuff. So
Okay, and you mentioned you got solar, so your charging situation, it sounds like you got that sorted as well?
Yeah, we've got 15 kilowatt solar system. We put a smart Zappy charger in, and I'm big into the Home Assistant world, so it's all automated and everything. And we charge primarily from solar. It's, this time of year we don't quite get enough of it because we're not home during the day, so we just get what we can on the weekend. But primarily from solar.
It's an interesting one. I've got two questions for you. Firstly, what led you to the Zappy? I've heard a lot of people talk about them lately, so tell me about that decision. And also, when you talk about, this is my first winter with solar, and so I'm now thinking the same thing. My wife's very smart with the charging the car. She's like, tomorrow there'll be sun, da-da-da-da. But we did get to a point only this week where she was at 11%, and I said, babe, just go to Ampol, just charge it, you're fine. But now I need to start thinking, hang on a minute, that's 60 cents, 69 cents per kilowatt when we're only paying 25 cents or 29 cents at home. So we actually should be charging at home in our off-peak time. So how's that working for you on top of the Zappy question, mate?
The Zappy, the main reason for getting it is it just integrates really well into my Home Assistant, and I'm able to set everything on it. I can do it all remotely, and I can have different things. We're with Amber for our electricity, so like on the weekend just passed, during the middle of the day, electricity was 5 cents a kilowatt hour, so it has a thing that says, just charge the car. We leave it plugged in on the weekend when we're home, so it takes advantage of that and then just puts it in. And then also, if there's any excess solar, it automatically will just put it into the car if the car's plugged in. If the battery, I got home Tesla Powerwalls at home, so if they're full, then it'll just put it into that. So
you got the solar, you got the batteries, you're all set up by the sounds of it, and so your wife is she now getting into the whole knowing when to charge, or is she's not across it? So you're still in charge there?
I get a text message. I plugged the car in. That's it, done.
No, mate, you know what?
So-
The thing is, it's plugged in. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Can I quickly just come back to you on the amber question? Because I do hear a lot about amber because they've got this wholesale approach where that was the one where that professor we spoke to essentially during some peak period in South Australia was able to get, huge money for the feed-in tariff. So talk to me about the amber plan, because I am still, thinking, what do I do next with my electricity provider to really take advantage of what I'm doing with the batteries?
Yeah, so essentially, with Amber, you pay the wholesale rate for electricity. So if it's really sunny and it's during the day, it's 5 cents a kilowatt hour is usually the cheapest it goes. But you can get some evening peaks that go, into the dollars, $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 a kilowatt hour. So you've got to have batteries to be able to take advantage of that, because if you don't have a home battery and you're pulling from the grid, that 1 hour of electricity is going to cost you $100. But like I've done, I think my best night was about $450 from one night of exporting to the grid. Yeah.
Wow, exporting.
Yeah, that's
that money.
far and few between. That was what I got paid.
It was so basically there was a lot of demand on the grid, and they went, dude, we'll take it.
Yeah.
So I wonder though if and when Amber will accept vehicle to grid, because they don't care. It's power, right? They just want to take it. So your Kia, your Kia is vehicle to grid capable. Obviously that's what I'm waiting for. So
this car down the track could power the house.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to have the right charger, and Amber are doing trials at the moment now with vehicle to grid. But only with some CHAdeMO.
We really need a
at the moment.
CCS2 option to come to market.
Yeah, but they're working with a couple of people in New South Wales and Australia for CCS2 compatible vehicle to grid ones. So probably within the next 12 to 18 months, there'll be a few vehicle to grid chargers on the market, and you'll be able to do it.
Can we get back to the car for a moment? Let's talk about what you like and don't like. So you're going to be put your reviewer's hat on. Have you driven enough to sort of tell us what you like and don't like about it? Or,
yeah.
So let's start with what you like. What do you like about it?
Just drives really nicely. Everything's nicely laid out. You've got physical buttons that you can press. So it's not all screen based, and it just feels like a car. Doesn't feel like a car. Bit of technology, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. And what if there's one thing you'd change or improve, what would that be?
Oh, it's just those ADAS things beeping and bopping at you, and you got to
warning when you
turn
go
it off every. It's just it's easy to turn off. It takes about 15 seconds, but sometimes you forget and you're driving and you get things that you go, "What are you talking about? Be quiet."
Have you? Does your Kia EV5 allow you to push and hold the mute button to turn off the basic speed stuff?
Not yet, no. So that's coming as an over-the-air update. So now I've got the star button set up as a shortcut to go to the screen, and then you just press off, and it's done.
Well, that's pretty smart.
You mentioned too that you're into. You sounds like you got a pretty smart home. Tell us about that. What have you got
We're
set
nerds.
up there? Yeah, we got another podcast you may have heard about that's all about tech. So tell us what you got going on there.
Everything and anything. Everything in the house I can meter. I can see how much electricity it's all using.
Wow.
Blinds are automated. Shutters are automated. My hot water system is automated, so that when the batteries reach 80%, it automatically turns on the hot water system. So I don't have none of the hot water gets used from the grid. It's all from the solar. So with a Shelly unit. So
what's your central control unit?
What's doing it all?
What are you running in this all through?
It's just on a Raspberry Pi.
Right,
This bloke's a real nerd.
You are a total nerd, mate. You're worse than we are. Wow. Raspberry Pi. Yeah. You must have programming knowledge.
What's your hourly rate? I want you to come to my joint and help me out.
Yeah, we'll get you over.
No, so I don't know any programming. I don't know any of that. Everything's just YouTube and self-learnt. So,
mate, that's impressive. That is super impressive, mate, because there's huge advantages. Like just the hot water system, it's not actually a huge impost because it's on a dedicated circuit for me, but the fact that it shows up on my usage as being, many kilowatts of the day, I just go, I want to remove that. So, you've done well.
I guess, too, that you have set this up to save money. You want to save money, haven't you? It sounds like efficiency is your goal here.
Oh, yeah, efficiency is definitely the key. The hot water is I did the hot water before we even got the Power Wars. I was treating it like a battery, but it was just not enough. I was exporting too much, and then we got the Power Wars. So
Wow.
Just quickly and kind of finally, I mean, the fact that you've done this and you said that you were hoping to save money on the car, have you become a bit of an advocate among your friends and family, or are you just rolling with it and not really worrying when people ask you the questions? Do you get deep into the conversations?
If they want to know, yeah, absolutely. But I don't sort of push it. But if somebody asks me, then they better be prepared to sit down with a cup of coffee and get ready to learn.
Well, mate, I do have one other question. Are you a two-car family? Are you going to buy an EV for yourself as well, or are you a one-car family?
We're a two-car family. Hopefully, yeah. I've got a GWN Canon Ute.
Okay.
But it's only a couple of years old. So, within the next 2 to 3 years, I'm looking at, LDV have a new electric one coming out. And I know there's the Shark and everything, but I don't really want to go plug-in hybrid. I'd rather just go the full electric. So,
Right. Okay. Keep your eye on LDV, I think, then. We'll see how their next one comes out and whether it's got a bit more range and a bit better affordability.
I reckon by the time he's ready to buy, the BYD will be fully electric there, Mate,
super impressive. I love what you're doing.
Good on you, mate.
It's inspirational, genuinely, the effort you've gone to.
Let us know when you can come over and program both our houses too, mate. Is that all right?
No, appreciate it. Thank you.
Good on you, Jamie. Thanks so much for getting in touch, mate. Really good to talk to you.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers. That's awesome, Mike. That's the thing is...
Raspberry Pi, I'm buying one tomorrow.
Jamie's text, I'm just going to read it, right? Yeah. Jamie's text was, "G'day, gents. Just want to reach out and thanks for the podcast. We recently purchased an EV and we're listening to the podcast to help with some questions we had before that." I mean, this bloke's...
Yeah, he's pretty savvy.
Savvy.
He knows the deal.
And it just shows how little information there is out there about EVs that he's come to us.
Yeah.
For a bloke with that knowledge already.
Absolutely.
And, that's the thing. We had no idea that Jamie was that far into the...
He could be the third bloke talking to
the energy world. The stuff that he's doing is just awesome. So
good on him.
Good on you, mate. Now, a quick follow-up also. A few weeks ago, we spoke to Mike. I have a recollection of saying he's in Perth.
Didn't he get a Shark?
He had a Ford Everest and he was getting a BYD Shark. I think we spoke to him.
Yes, we did.
When he was like
he was
before
just about
delivery.
to get it. He'd ordered it, hadn't got it yet.
So he sent a text saying, "Trevor and Stephen, thanks for posting my EV journey on the show. Collected the Shark 6 using the good advice," I think, because we were talking about, asking questions and things like that.
Yes.
Great car to drive with lots of people stopping me to talk about it. Hope to catch you later on some drive experiences. Thanks, Mike. And he sent us a cool photo, which I will make the background of this week's podcast cover art, if I remember. Because he's got a good thumbs up, just in the right spot for the thumbnail, because our heads will be down there over the number plate. It'll be perfect. That's awesome. Love to hear from you, mate. That's really good to hear. And the thing about the Shark I've noticed, by the way, BYD. If we talk BYD, the YouTube numbers go nuts.
Are they SEOing?
They're
us,
SEO,
maybe,
mate.
Wow.
No, I think people are searching a lot for BYD.
Yeah,
There's a lot of curiosity. Now, I'll tell you my observation.
So let's say BYD.
No, I'll just type it in the words, mate. If we're not talking about them on the show, I'll still mention them in the title.
Type it in, mate.
I've seen a stack of sharks on the road. I saw a few in Melbourne when I was down there.
A couple too, actually.
It's. I mean, they had a good.
I've got to say, we sat in one, member at the Everything Electric show, and I was impressed.
Yeah,
it was.
I think you said.
I said I could drive this,
and I'm like,
because my nickname's Sharky, like Shark. It'd be appropriate that I drive that car.
Brilliant.
If they had a car called Drunky, you'd be able to have one too.
And give Joe the Merc to drive.
Maybe.
That's not happening.
Maybe.
But here's the thing. If you go hard, and this is like, I'm not disparaging motoring journos at all. They're putting a car to the test, just like we put gadgets to the test.
Correct.
But there's a lot of I'm seeing a lot of videos now of people finding the limit of the Shark, which is essentially off-road. I'm seeing, hill climbs that are not going well, real rough terrain that, they talk about the rear wheels are only driven by the electric motor. Then there's no actual diff from the petrol motor. So that's an inconvenience. That's not good. I think 97% of people who buy all utes, let alone the BYD Shark, are not going near dirt.
They don't take them off road.
Okay? Yeah. They're not going near dirt. So I think that genuinely, if that's what you are hoping for from this car, totally, you're probably going to wait for a second generation.
But there's no EV that can do have ute off road. There's no vehicle like that yet.
That's why that's why the haters will say, well, these cars are crap, just buy a Hilux, right?
Yeah, mate.
Totally. If you're planning on doing this kind of driving and rocks and all, mate, buy a bloody Land Rover, buy a Hilux, buy a Land Cruiser, whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
But the BYD Shark,
CT50.
for most of the people that are driving tradies or their family, because it's, it's a dual cab with room in the back for bikes and whatever, it's a bloody unbelievable vehicle because it has the range, it's comfort, it's more luxury than most of the utes as well.
If I ever did, I
100%.
would fall into the civilian driver and never go
I was thinking, we mentioned I got the G-Wagon, coming up.
Yep.
I mean, that has the zero turn capability, right? This silly little party trick. Have you've seen that video?
It spins around.
Just spins in on the spot, right?
Yeah.
All I can think about is, where could I test that? I can't even think of
What
a
about
place.
in your driveway?
Yeah, no, because you can't do it on hard, dry surface. It needs to be either wet cement
Oh, really?
or dirt.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not made for that.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even know
I thought it was
somewhere.
like a built-in turntable. For
I don't even know somewhere that has that much dirt. Do you know what I mean? So,
I got a couple of spots.
Genuinely, you think about it, you go, like, these things are made for show. And so the BYD Shark, I'm sure they would wish it had better off-road capabilities.
Yeah.
And I bet you any money they're taking all the feedback from the reviews that are being done.
Well, you think
and
about
we'll see a really interesting generational change on that device.
Absolutely.
It's actually, I call it a device, but we're talking about a car.
It's a car, actually, mate. But
Pretty handy device.
You're right. Prado, handy, very, very good price. It's very, very popular. I've seen a few, as you've seen a few, and we're going to see even more because I think it's if you order one, it takes a little while. The backlog of orders is quite high.
Anyway, great to hear back from people. So if you've been on the show and your journey is continuing, we'll have you back on. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
We're happy to do it. At some point, we're going to have to make a decision as to whether we do longer shows with more calls or more shows with. Do you know what I mean? Like we're pretty easily
you are
able.
Our engineers. Our listeners and viewers are our engineers. What you want, we will do.
If you know someone who needs the help and the advice, get them in touch.
Yes.
We'll talk to them
Get
right
them
here
onto
on
the show.
Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Thanks for listening, folks. Great to have your company. I just literally mentioned if you were on the show previously, we're happy to hear from you again. Well, your wish, my command. Ian's on the line. G'day, Ian.
How are you guys?
How long ago did we speak to you, mate?
It would have been mid last year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Probably May last year.
All right. For the new people listening and for the idiot behind the microphone who has no memory, remind us in brief where you were at back then.
We had two big diesels, a dual cab ute and a Prado, and the wife was working from home.
Yep.
So we decided she wanted to get rid of the Prado, and we started looking for an EV, and that sent me down the big solar rabbit hole as well.
Oh, okay. So what did you get
forward.
first?
So I rang you guys.
Or the EV. So what happened?
Well, I rang you and spoke to you about charging solutions and solar and which EVs, and well, we've gone full hog. So we've now got a nice big 11 kilowatt system sitting on the roof.
Nice.
Put in all new solar heating on the pool, which was good, and ordered a BMW iX3.
Whoa.
Hey.
So that came along, and we had to wait a bit. We got the Pro model, so we had to wait for a few things to be done with it, and picked it up just over a month ago.
Wow.
iX3
we've cost you a bit of money, eh?
You've really got the
It
rabbit
has.
hole.
You guys have, that's it.
Now, the iX3, let's be clear, compared to a Prado, is a smaller car. So was that a conversation or was that out of necessity?
No, that was a decision made. Two of our kids are now driving on their own, or one's about to be driving, the other one is already on her P. She's driving around. So we've been able to downsize, not needing the big car anymore, not taking as many people. And just with the cost of fuel, and my wife works from home all day, the EV was a massive benefit. Like since we've got it, we've done probably about 1,400 Ks, and through Large Fox subscription we've used twice, and her being really vigilant with plugging in during the day and using the excess solar, we've not spent 1 cent, not 1 cent on power to charge the car.
Wow.
Boom. That's good. And
so she's been fantastic. She's become such an adopter of solar and EV that she monitors on the app when we're producing, and
great.
doesn't do washing when it's outside of periods and that. And charges the car and keeps just topping it up when needed. So it's been great.
Okay, and so the car itself, is this, Trevor, is this the car that we saw? Is that the one made in Spartanburg? This one? Was that one made?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we've actually...
Do they make the electrics here? Yes,
I think
they do.
yeah. We Trevor
No,
and
the
I-
electric
No,
store.
they aren't. They it's the
electric
hybrids,
storage, yeah.
and they're going to move to some electric production in
right.
Spartanburg soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your impressions of the car? Let's talk about that. You put your
Fantastic.
Your reviewer's hat on, so take us through what you love about it.
Take us
first
through it
of
as
all.
well as a, Toyota to BMW itself is a leap. So I
Yeah.
think it's important to separate. You're going from. I think of Toyotas as very mainstream plastic, but reliable cars. But then you're popping into the luxury world. So that itself is a big shift. And then there's the electric part of it.
So the luxury bits, it's the little things that are the big difference that you notice. The build quality, the way the steering wheel feels in your hand, the trim all around, the features, and the customer service we got from the dealership we went through was just incredible. They threw out even the long delivery process and everything. They were absolutely incredible. When it came to handover, they were brilliant as well. And just everything about it since we've had it is just a nicer experience to drive, to be in the car and the feeling of that. The EV side of it, for me, it's a bit weird still. I hop in it and it's weird in a good way because I've come from diesels and dual cab utes and everything. I get excited driving it. It's a totally different experience. I don't think about, it's got to drop back a gear before I change lanes or I've got to pick a gap. There's a lot more get up and go in it.
Yeah.
It's just fun to drive. I like hopping in it every time, and I'm trying to take her car more than mine.
You know what I love about that? And look, I'm a car guy, so this may differ for different people, but I still love getting in my Cupra. I still love, because I drive the Cupra 90% of the time, and the Kia is Amanda's drive, but then it's in the driveway, and if I'm ducking up the shops or whatever, and like a couple of weeks ago, I had to take a bunch of stuff to Channel 9 in the bigger car. I just instantly went, I'll take the Kia. And so both cars still give me that buzz of this is so cool to drive. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't know that it dissipates very much over the course of time even.
Nah, exactly.
Well, that's having a lot of petrol-led friends and growing up around cars and being a car enthusiast myself. Everybody's like, you're going to hate it. It's not the same. But I don't feel that. I feel it's actually, I find it, yes, there's no engine noise and you don't get that great sound, but everything else about it is such an experience to drive. The way you can throw someone back in their seat with ease when you just put the foot down and have fun with it. And so far, we haven't had to worry about any range anxiety. It's used for small trips, running around. Yeah. It's off-street parking. We charge at home. It's been fantastic so far.
I find that whenever, and I've had this with, I've owned two EVs. The experience of driving it is always something you love. Like you were saying about the Cupra, I'm the same. Was the same with my Tesla. Now I'm the same with my Merc. The experience of the drive is something that you fall in love with, and that, like Trev said, that doesn't go away.
Do you feel like Ian, you're a car guy in the sense of you can appreciate handling, like ride and handling through corners, those kind of things?
Yeah, definitely. Coming from a motorbike racing background and that as well, I love speed and handling and all that kind of stuff. So I've always been involved in that.
So he's given it a bit of a run by the sound of it.
Toyota Prado into BMW anything has got to be... So I don't know if you've heard my story. I've told it before on other shows that we do. But in the year 2000, I bought a BMW 3 Series. And I remember my mum was with me in Perth visiting. And I remember we were going for a test drive, and the dealer was in the back. My mum was in the front passenger seat, and the dealer in the back. As we were approaching a roundabout, about 200 metres out, he goes, "Go through it like you want to." And I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You know what I mean." And so I didn't fang it. I just didn't slow down, and I just went left, right, and through the corner. And it sold me on the car immediately because of the drive, as they used to call it, sheer driving pleasure. Have you embraced that part of the BMW experience?
I have. I love it. And my father had BMWs coming up and some nice ones, some very hot 3 Series and that, so it was good. And then to hop in this and own one myself, it is just a pleasure to drive. I know if I want to go through a roundabout a little bit zippier, it's going to grip. There's no better feeling. You put it in the sports, you feel the suspension tighten up and the steering tighten up, and it's just it is a nice experience. I really enjoy it. And
I mean, we've got to be real.
Definitely fun. I'm not going to change it because the headlights are different, unlike someone else in the BMW. So I won't be changing it just if they bring out new headlights. So
yeah, fair call.
I feel very seen there.
You're very loyal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Loyal.
No need to rub that in. Thank you, mate. You've spent, I'm assuming, pretty much top end Prado money on a smaller BMW. Is that something that you're able to sit well with in the longer term justification among your mates, let alone internally in the family?
He's asking if you mean you're not regretting the purchase. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh,
Trevor?
definitely. Definitely not. And even I'm not regretting it, but what's even more of a benefit for me, my wife's not regretting it either. She loves it.
Yeah.
She enjoys driving it for the drop-offs and pickups we still have to do. And it is a lovely car to look at. It's great to drive, and it's a nice experience owning it when you hop inside it. It is just the small things. The seatbelt, where you click your seatbelt into, it's wrapped in a felt material so it doesn't bump around. Just tiny things that you don't normally notice.
That's the little.
It's just things like that.
Little things that surprise and delight, as they say. With
but
that's
it is
why
a pleasure.
It's BMW. That's BMW.
I feel like
Mercedes. You're getting that.
I feel like you're still far too much in the honeymoon period to have anything negative to say about the car. Have you got anything negative to say about the car?
You would improve anything you change.
The external simulated noise it makes at low speed, and I know I think that's an ADR compliance thing, but that's the only thing that kind of bugs me. We got the one with all the Hans Zimmer sound pack and all that. I find that to be an absolute useless thing, and that's turned that off. But beyond that, it's the issue I have found. I've done a couple of public chargings, and the culture in Melbourne with public charging and people leaving their car plugged in when it's fully charged, or sitting there and seeing 4 cars waiting, but they're going, no, I'm charging to 100%.
Yes,
there's still a bit of that, and I guess it's still.
Yeah, so that's
early
not a
adopter type
negative
stuff.
On the car. That's a negative on the experience.
Yeah,
understand, mate.
Yeah.
That's understandable. We've all experienced that.
We've talked about that. And are you the kind of person that knocks on the window and says, "Oi,
come on, mate, hurry
there's
up."
people waiting 80%.
I may put some bit of intense stares through the windscreen and park the car in a certain area, but the good thing with PlugShare and ChargeFox, you can see on the app at what they're at, and you can watch how long they've been there, and that's always a good thing.
I feel like you and I'd get on really well, Ian. I really do.
I've definitely listened to the podcast and taken on all the advice you guys have had, so it's been fantastic.
Mate, I'm really happy for you.
It could be time to get rid of the dual cab. Might end up in another one.
Would you contemplate
BMW again? Or?
Do you need a dual cab, or could you contemplate a different car completely?
Mate,
I like the idea of it. I like the dual cab because of the ability to go camping and that with the younger son, but I believe there could come a time when, I don't know, maybe an i4 M50 spec, the nice hot one, could be on the cards, something along that line.
Hello. Nice.
Yeah, cling on to that dual cab until the finances clear. But you're saving money on the solar. You're doing all the right things. In a month, you've saved like $250 on petrol.
Mate, this
diesel.
is what Trevor's saying now is part of the marketing campaign to the missus, mate. That's what you're going to tell her.
And she's on it. She knows that even if we had to pay for the ChargeFox, we would have spent a total of $40 on electricity when we've topped it up.
Boom.
Yet we've got 1,500 Ks out of the car so far. Now that for a tank of diesel in the Prado would have been $350. Wow. So we're definitely ahead. So
I think it sounds like you're trying to justify it, but I think keeping tabs of that is a really important thing for, justifying it internally, but also then just going, for the next one, we know this. And, you can really make the case for yourself. Because I've always said that while there are great ongoing savings, it still does require an upfront hit on the hip pocket.
I love a gadget and an app. I'm a big gadget and app type. I love that monitoring every little bit, and I enjoy watching all that on the different apps. So it's good.
Mate, congratulations on the car, mate. We look forward to hearing from you in a year from now when you've got a few more criticisms of the car, but also some
or maybe another EV.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
But mate,
thank you very much for the podcast, guys. It's great.
We'll definitely hook you up because they'll love knowing that you're in the family now, mate.
Good to hear.
Good on you, Ian.
Thanks for the great podcast, guys.
Mate, really appreciate it. Really do. That's awesome. That is so good. Prado into BMW. But again, it's hard to understand if you're younger, but when you get to our age, I'm not suggesting Ian's age, but he's got older kids that are driving, so I think we're probably the same age.
Yeah.
I feel like if Ian lived in my suburb, we'd be mates.
You'd be besties.
Also, what about how much he must have been listening to us over the years for him to have known my BMW story about upgrading my car because of the headlights? But anyway, that's a whole other thing.
He's not as precious as that, he said.
No, but yeah, it's so. He said we're downsizing. You think about downsizing as being what your parents who are now grandparents do in their homes.
Yeah.
It's it's all like we've got a Kia EV9 because we have 3 teenage children. Well, Harry's 13, so in 5 years from now he'll be 18. The chances of us taking 3 kids anywhere with an 18, 19 and 20-something-year-old are slim. So we definitely won't be buying. Our next family car will not be a 7-seater.
Definitely.
It could be down to an EV5, or we could do what Ian's done and go to a BMW or a Mercedes. So
hey, look out.
it's an interesting life period change.
Well, you know what? It's all part of the decision-making process, isn't it? Why? Who's going to drive it? Who do I need to take in it? Just like you got your EV9 because you got to take everyone in the car. It's part of the whole process of deciding on what's best for you.
You got a nice
family.
big EQE because you're just a baller.
Just me. Yeah.
Just doing very well.
Yeah.
Great to hear from Ian. And as we said before, if you've been on the show before, happy to hear more from you. If you think you've got something to add, think about other people. That's what we hear so much is people just going, love hearing other people, love learning from other people. It's not just us you can learn from.
Yeah.
I'd like to think we can impart knowledge, but I feel like I learn as much every week as people listening do.
And we're also hearing a lot more about people's charging solutions. They're going solar and getting batteries and monitoring, and we're learning as well.
Yeah.
We're every day's a school day for us as well. So we're from your calls and us talking to you. We're learning stuff just like our audience.
Did you know you're on detention tomorrow?
No.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that later.
Is that right?
Every day's a school day and Stephen needs detention sometimes. I'm probably in detention on the weekends.
Yeah.
Great to hear from you. 0477 657 657 if you have an EV or you're in the market for an EV or you just got questions about EVs because you're thinking about it. You might be 2 years away from buying, but if there's questions, let us know. We'll try and help you out as best we can. Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars, thanks to you, Unidan Smart Dash Cams and NRMA Insurance. We appreciate their support. Stephen, look forward to seeing you next week, mate.
We'll see you then.
Beautiful.